Before this video ends, you'll see the living creature sharing 99% of the raptor's predatory DNA. But first, the lost world of the Mesozoic and the moment paleontology got completely wrong about raptors vanishing. Listen closely. That low sound in the underbrush is not wind, it is breath. Slow, measured, patient predatory breath. A single amber eye opens in the dark, and for a heartbeat, the world you know entirely dissolves. Because as a millones de años, there existed a world that no longer breathes or even remembers our kind. A world of towering ferns, blood-warm rivers, and cunning hunters that fought in coordinated packs with terrifying precision. Today we walk into that vanished world. By journey's end, you'll meet the creature that never let it die. But the greatest revelation appears only at the very end, because its living descendant is still hunting today. To understand what returned, we must first understand what was lost. Turn back the clock now, carefully. Not thousands of years, not millions. Turn it back 75 million years, to the late Cretaceous era itself. The continents are still drifting apart. The young Atlantic Ocean is narrow. Great inland seas divide North America. Forests of magnolia and ginkgo stretch to horizons that no human eye will ever see or witness. The air itself is different, heavier, warmer, thick with the hum of insects the size of hands. This is the mundo perdido del Mesozoico, a planet ruled not by mammals but by ancient reptiles. They had perfected 100 million years of evolution. Herds of ceratopsians move like living tanks across plains. Duck-billed hadrosaurs sing in low, mournful calls across the river valleys, echoing through humid Cretaceous afternoon light. Above them, pterosaurs the size of small aircraft ride the thermals with silent, patient, sweeping, gliding wings. And in the shadows between the ferns, something smaller waits, something faster, something that has learned to think. The raptors, Dromaeosauridae, the running lizards. They were not the largest predators of their age, nor the strongest, but they may have been the most dangerous. The first hunters combining speed, sickle claws, and coordinated intelligence. They hunted in groups, they communicated, they planned. Together they moved as a single lethal, thinking pack of killers. Fossilized trackways in China preserve 3 raptors moving together in formation along a muddy prehistoric shoreline. A hunting team. For decades, the story ended in fire. 66 million years ago, an asteroid struck the ancient sunlit world. The reign of the dinosaurs collapsed. The textbooks closed the chapter. The raptor, we were told, was gone forever. A fossil, a myth. A creature preserved only in stone and imagination. But that story is incomplete. La ciencia moderna revela something the old textbooks missed entirely. One lineage slipped through the catastrophe unseen. To find the survivor, we must first meet the ancestor. Deep in the red sands of the Gobi Desert, in the winds-covered cliffs of Mongolia, paleontologists uncovered the most famous raptor of all, Velociraptor mongoliensis. Its name means swift thief, and it earned every syllable. This animal was not the towering monster of cinema. In life it stood the height of a large turkey, 60 centimeters at the hip, 2 meters long. But size is a lie. This was a machine of muscle, bone and calculation. Every part evolved to kill. Its skull was long and low, filled with recurved teeth serrated only on the back inner edge, perfect for pulling flesh backward, deeper into the throat. Its arms were long, 3-fingered hands built to grasp. Its tail was rigid, held stiff by bony rods, acting as a counterweight during high-speed hunting turns. And on the second toe of each foot, folded back like the blade of a switchblade knife, waited destruction. The sickle claw. Nearly 7 centimeters of curved keratin and bone. The weapon that changed everything forever. When the raptor leapt, that claw came forward. When it struck downward, it drove deep into living flesh.
In 1971, in a windswept Gobi dune, a Polish Mongolian expedition uncovered a fossil that stopped the world. Two skeletons locked in combat, a Velociraptor and a protoceratops, buried alive in a collapsing sandbank mid-fight. The raptor's sickle claw was embedded in the prey's throat. The prey's beak clamped on the raptor's arm. They died together. They fossilized together. 75 million years later, they still had not let go of each other.
This is the Fighting Dinosaurs specimen, the closest thing paleontology has ever to a photograph of a Mesozoic hunt. For a long time, this made Velociraptor el depredador más temido of the popular imagination, our shared nightmare. But the science is more nuanced. Velociraptor was not the pack-hunting giant of the movies. It was smaller. It was probably solitary or hunted in loose family groups. Its intelligence was real, but its cunning was subtle. Its true legacy lay not in what it did, but in what it wore. Feathers hide the first clue. The raptor family was never one creature. A dynasty spread across continents, across tens of millions of years. In Montana's Badlands in 1964, paleontologist John Ostrom uncovered a raptor larger than Velociraptor, Deinonychus antiropus, the terrible claw. 3 meters long, 70 kilograms of coiled predator. Its discovery rewrote everything we knew.
Ostrom studied those bones. The light frame, the long legs, the wishbone-like collarbone, and realized something impossible. This was not a sluggish, cold reptile. This was a warm-blooded, active, bird-like hunter, alive with restless fire. His work sparked what we now call the dinosaur renaissance, a revolution that is still unfolding today. Then came Utahraptor, discovered in the early 1990s in the deserts of eastern Utah, nearly 7 meters long. Half a metric ton of muscle, its sickle claw stretched 24 centimeters, the size of a human hand. A raptor built to bring down prey larger than itself, leaping onto armored herbivores with a single downward strike. On the other end of the scale, in fossil beds of northeastern China, a much smaller cousin was unearthed. Microraptor, no larger than a crow, yet this creature carried 4 wings, feathered arms, legs, and long tail. It could glide from tree to tree, a black iridescent shadow moving silently through the humid Cretaceous forests. Recent studies of its fossilized pigment cells revealed its color: deep oil-slick black, glossy as a modern raven. Raptors lived on every continent, hunting deserts, forests, floodplains, and coastlines, filling every niche a mid-sized predator could occupy. They were not a species, they were a strategy. Feathered, fast, intelligent, armed, forged by evolutionary pressure. Their world stretched from what is now Mongolia to Argentina, from Alberta to Madagascar, across ancient continents. Los secretos de this dynasty were only beginning to be understood. Then paleontologists found something impossible in the bones. The impossible thing was not a new species. A fossil so perfectly preserved, it redefined the word dinosaur forever. It came from the Yixian Formation in the Liaoning province of northeastern China, buried beneath ancient volcanic ash. 125 million years ago, a chain of volcanoes erupted along that ancient tranquil coastline. Fine ash rained down over lakes and forests, burying every living creature beneath a soft, anaerobic blanket. So soft, so fine, so anaerobic that even the delicate feathers of the smallest creatures were preserved intact. When the first Yixian raptors emerged from Chinese stone in the 1990s, the world went absolutely silent. Pressed into the pale rock were unmistakable feathers, not scales, not wrinkled reptile skin, but structured feathers. Long veined plumes ran along the arms and tails, with downy insulation across the body, even eyelashes preserved. The raptor, we finally understood, had never resembled a lizard. It had always looked unmistakably like a bird. Later, scientists studied tiny melanosomes, the pigment-carrying organelles inside feathers that preserve the true color of prehistoric creatures. By comparing their shape to modern birds, researchers reconstructed rusty reds, iridescent blacks, and bright bands of white. These were not drab reptiles.
They were creatures painted for display, for camouflage, for courtship, living, breathing animals. The anatomical similarities to birds ran far deeper than plumage. The wishbone, once thought uniquely avian, was present. Hollow bones, three-fingered hands, backward-facing pubis, and most stunning of all, brooding postures preserved over ancient eggs. Fossils of small raptors sat upon their nests, wings spread carefully over eggs, exactly as a chicken broods today. The mother raptor was the mother bird. The line between them dissolved, and that dissolution was genetic reality. One modern creature still carries their exact killing blueprint. To find it, science needed a new molecular tool. Since the 1960s, biologists have known that DNA accumulates mutations at roughly predictable, measurable rates over time. Compare the genomes of two living species, count the differences, and estimate when they last shared an ancestor.
Applied to birds, this method revealed a stunning evolutionary tree, unlike anything scientists had previously dared to imagine. Every sparrow, every eagle, every ostrich is not merely descended from dinosaurs. Each living bird is a dinosaur. Birds are surviving members of the theropod family, the same great branch that contains Tyrannosaurus and Velociraptor. When you watch a hawk fold its wings and strike, you are watching a Silurosaur hunt. A rooster's dawn crow is a small predator claiming territory, a voice echoing for 150 million years. But some birds are closer to the raptor line than others, carrying the specific hunting anatomy of Dromaeosauridae. Molecular studies focus on genes controlling foot shape, claw curvature, and the precise proportions of the hunting leg. Certain modern birds, flightless ground-dwelling predatory, retain sequences remarkably similar to those reconstructed for raptors. Two names appear repeatedly in this research: the cassowary of northern Australia and New Guinea, and the seriema. The seriema stalks the South American grasslands. Both are hunters, wielding elongated inner toes tipped with curved claws. Both use those claws in strikes almost identical to the fossil evidence of raptor attacks preserved in ancient stone. The secrets of the killing claw were never lost, only rewritten in the DNA of living birds. And then the catastrophe came. The catastrophe that erased their ancient world almost totally, without warning or mercy. 66 million years ago, on an ordinary morning in the late Cretaceous, an object 10 kilometers wide arrived. It entered Earth's atmosphere at 20 kilometers per second, striking the shallow sea at what is now Yucatan. The impact released energy equivalent to over 100 million megatons of TNT in a single blinding instant. In that instant, a crater 180 kilometers wide was carved deep into the Earth's fractured crust. This is Chicxulub, and this is where the mundo perdido del Mesozoico died in fire and silence. The immediate aftermath was too vast to describe. A fireball rose skyward, molten rock flung across the entire hemisphere. Trillions of tons of vaporized rock and sulfur poured into the upper atmosphere, choking every layer of sky above. Within hours, the sky glowed red across half the planet as ejected debris re-entered and burned above continents. Forests ignited spontaneously from Alaska to Antarctica. A global firestorm when the very air itself seemed alight. Then came the cold. Sulfur particles blocked the sun. Photosynthesis collapsed. Winter came without end across a dying world. Global temperatures fell 15 degrees or more. Plants died, then herbivores that ate them, then the carnivores above. Food chains of the Mesozoic, built across 180 million years, unraveled entirely in a matter of months. Roughly 75% of Earth's species vanished.
Every non-avian dinosaur died. Every marine reptile, every pterosaur, gone. But not everyone. In the ashes, some lineages endured. Here lies the key question of this entire story. Why some and not others? Why did tyrannosaurs die, but small feathered theropods survived the endless dark winter? The answer lies in three things. Small body size. Creatures needing less food to survive years of famine. Insulating feathers, which allowed them to endure the sudden, brutal cold seeping through every corner of the world. And the beak, replacing teeth, which could crack seeds and hard nuts long after fresh meat and leaves vanished. A tiny, feathered theropod could sit in a burrow through the darkness. A 10-ton tyrannosaur could not. The raptors, most of them, fell. Their prey vanished. Their forests burned. Their world went silent forever. But not every branch of the family was doomed. From ashes, one raptor lineage opened its wings. They were not raptors in the strict sense anymore.
They were what raptors had been slowly becoming. For tens of millions of years, smaller, lighter, more bird-like. Their descendants scattered across the recovering planet. In the long green ages that followed, they diversified into the many bright birds we know today. But among them, a few kept the old ways. They kept the ancient ground beneath their feet. They kept the hunt in their fierce eyes. They kept the claw. Meet the Seriema, Cariama cristata. To a casual observer, it looks unremarkable. Long legs, gray-brown plumage, a crest of dark feathers rising. It stands roughly 90 centimeters tall, walking open grasslands of Brazil, Paraguay and northern Argentina with deliberate stride. It looks, for all the world, like a small, quiet crane. But watch it hunt closely now. The Seriema stalks snakes, lizards, rodents and insects through tall grass. When prey is spotted, it freezes. Then it strikes. It lifts 1 foot high, revealing an inner toe tipped with a curved, enlarged claw. It brings that foot down in a rapid, precise blow. The claw punctures. The claw pins prey. For larger prey, a snake perhaps or a mouse, the Seriema picks the animal up. In its beak, slamming it repeatedly against the rock, killing by concussion before swallowing the body whole. Now compare this behavior to the fossil evidence. The raised inner claw, the pinning strike, the precise foot-driven kill. Paleontologists studying Deinonychus and Velociraptor have reconstructed nearly identical actions, attacks driven not by teeth, but by the foot. The Seriema is not merely reminiscent of a raptor. In its hunting mechanics, it truly is a raptor itself. A raptor still walking through tall grass on a continent that did not exist when its ancestors first perfected. And then there is the cassowary, Casuarius, a creature of the rainforests of New Guinea and northern Queensland, nearly 2 meters tall, up to 80 kilograms, deep black plumage, a brilliant blue neck, a bony casque, and on each foot an inner toe tipped with a claw 12 centimeters long, sharp as a dagger. The cassowary is often described as the most dangerous bird in the world. When threatened, it charges and leaps. It kicks with both feet. That inner claw can open flesh straight to the bone in a single strike. Look at the cassowary in stillness, and you see something that stops the breath entirely. The long, muscular legs, the stiff-tailed posture, the forward-tilted body, the wary, calculating eye. It is not a metaphor, it is not illusion. a living echo of Dromaeosauridae, striding through the ferns exactly as ancestors did over 100 million years ago. Un mundo que ya no existe still breathes in the dark corners of tropical forests, in tall grasses.
Wherever a bird with a killing claw still walks the earth, the lost world of the Mesozoic endures. But another prehistoric ghost may still be hiding. Take a moment to consider what this profound revelation truly changes. For centuries, extinction was thought to be an ending, a door closed forever behind a silent fossil record. The dinosaurs died, the mammoths died. The mundo perdido was locked in stone, accessible only through imagination. But modern genomics has rewritten that story entirely. Evolution is not a series of endings, but continuity. Lineages narrow, lineages transform. Lineages hide inside other lineages, waiting for the right eye to see them. The raptor did not die. The raptor changed. It shed its size and refined its iridescent quill feathers. It kept its intelligence, its precision, its lethal foot. In shedding what it was, it earned continued existence. Every time a seriema pins a snake to the earth, the Cretaceous does not merely echo. It happens.
The past is not past. It is only smaller, only quieter. It has learned to wear new colors. This is what La Ciencia Moderna revela. Not that dinosaurs are gone, but that they surround us today. In the sparrow at your window, in the pigeon on the wire, in the chicken on the farm, and in the rare, hidden hunters of southern forests, those carrying the raptor's exact killing signature intact. More than 10,000 species of birds live today. Everyone is a surviving branch of theropod family. Every single one carries some fragment of what once was. A very few carry the killing blueprint unchanged. The next lost world is stranger than this one, waiting beneath waves you have not yet dared to cross. If the ember eye in the dark stirred something ancient in your memory, then walk further with us now. Suscríbete para continuar el viaje a un mundo que ya no existe y sigue este camino con nosotros. Activa la campana para no perder el próximo capítulo de Mundo Prehistórico, un viaje que apenas comienza. Because the next episode descends into the oceans of the Mesozoic, into the reign of the mosasaurs. The plesiosaurs and the great sea dragons ruled a planet almost entirely covered in endless, unfathomed water. The abyss remembers monsters we have only just begun